Hi, I'm Johnny and you're watching the Hexy Beast, and on this episode I'm going to be taking part in the board game tag challenge where I've been tagged by Ryan and Bethany Board Games to answer 20 questions about the hobby. Anyway, let's just get on with the video, shall we? Okay, so thank you for joining me for this board game tag episode. So let's get on with those 20 questions. Okay, so question the first, and the first one is pretty easy. Name, age and location. Anyway, my name is Jonathan Matthew Forliam Scanley and I am 31. No. Blifty Claw. What? No. Hold on one second. I'm 34 years old. Yes, 34 years old, and I live in South Wales in the UK. Okay, so question number 2. What is your favourite childhood board game? And I have to say, this one's quite a tricky one because although I've played like mass market board games all my life, I didn't really get into the hobby till quite recently, which is actually another question on this list, so I'm not going to answer that yet. But what I will say is I do have fond memories of a child of being in the hospital and there being crocodile dentists for me to play with in the children's play area at the hospital when I was having an operation. I think I was like 4 years old. There was also Mousetrap, and there were times where I was playing poker with my dad and my dad taught me to play poker, and to be honest, some of those times were some of the best times of my life, so I'm just going to say it's probably my dad teaching me poker. Okay, so question number 3. When did I really get into the board game hobby? So let's think. It would have been about halfway through 2019. It was just before COVID. I know I was already in the hobby when COVID hit, and I didn't start the channel until March of 2020. So I think it was around the summer of 2019, and I kind of got into the hobby through playing TCGs at my local store when I noticed a game on a shelf that said it had one player on the box, and that completely baffled me, and that's a story for another question, so let's get on with it. Okay, so question number 4. First game I purchased, and do I still have it? And the answer is yes, I do, and it's Perfect Cell, the dice game, a Dragon Ball Z dice rolling game, which it isn't all that much to it, but it plays quite quickly, and it was actually the first game I bought. And in the previous question, you know, when I spotted a game on the shelf and I saw the number 1, well, that number 1 was written on the side of this box right there. And this is the game that actually kickstarted my board game hobby. It really did boost me in. And this was the only thing I owned for ages. I was playing on a garden table. But it basically told me that, yeah, board games is for me. So let's move on to the next question, shall we? Okay, so question number 5. Do I have any other hobbies apart from board games? And the answer is obviously yes. The first one I want to mention is mountain biking, and I'm probably going to put a clip over the top of this right now so you can have a look at what I sort of mean. There's also, I play a lot of musical instruments including piano, guitar, bass. I play drums. I can do a little bit of the decks, that's kind of the thing I'm learning now. So I generally play a lot of musical instruments and I make a lot of music, as well as getting out on my bike and of course board games. Okay, so this is question number 6, and that is my breakthrough game. And although I said I did get into the hobby with Dragon Ball Z, the game that really let me know that solo gaming was for me was Legends Untold from Inspiring Games. It was like the second or third game in my collection, and it was just something that completely blew me away for the price it was. It was completely different to anything I'd ever tried before, as up to this point I'd only played a simple dice game, and it really was a good early game for me to jump into, and it was deep enough to keep me going for the next month or 2 until I bought the other set of it. So yeah, this was my breakthrough game. This was when I really realised that solo gaming was right for me. So anyway, on to the next question. Okay, so time for question number 7, and that is a theme that always draws me in. Now, I am a bit of a sucker for a space or sci-fi theme, but one of the things that will always catch my attention is an anime aesthetic, similar to things like Bullet Heart right here. I kind of been an anime fan for a long time, so it kind of makes sense that anime aesthetics would appeal to me. And right now, one of the games I'm really enjoying the look of is Madara, So that kind of gives you an idea of the kind of art styles that sort of draw me in, the themes that get me interested. I tend to like long dungeon crawly, thematic, anime based games, and there isn't many of them about, so that's why that theme always draws my attention. Anyway, next question. Okay, so that's question number 8, and that's my favourite mechanism. And I have to say that some of the games I really enjoy are deck building games, especially those ones that use deck building as a mechanism and have dual use cards. I think you know where I'm going here. Basically, Mage Knight is just the kind of game I really enjoy. However, another mechanism I really enjoy is dice drafting. I like having the randomness of dice and then basically being given some tools and having to make the best of them. And so my favourite mechanism overall is deck building with dual use cards. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 9 is a mechanism I don't like or I'm not good at, and this is pretty simple. I don't like hidden traitor games at all. I kind of don't like having hidden information. I think that comes from the fact that I came into the hobby as a solo gamer. So playing with other people, especially when they're in a position where they're trying to betray me, can often trigger some anxiety in me. So I generally avoid hidden traitor games at all costs. There are a few exceptions. They have to be kind of party games and really like fun focused. So anything that's too serious or makes people lie to each other, I'm generally not a fan of. So anyway, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so that brings us on to question 10, and that is the newest game in my collection and have I played it yet? And the answer to that question is the newest game is Ark Nova, and no, I haven't, because I haven't got time to do it right now. I've been working on videos and stuff, but now hopefully, now my kids are back in school, I'm going to crack open Ark Nova and actually get to play one of the games I've been anticipating for probably over a year at this point. So, on to the next question. Okay, so that brings us on to question 11, favourite player count. Do I need to answer this one? So, question 12, what is my board game pet peeve? Well, I just have to say it's when a game comes with a lot of tokens and no baggies. It's just one of those things that is really awkward for me to find, and often I end up using the cellophane from the outside of a sleeves packet or just any old bag I can find lying around. I've been meaning to go to the bank and get some money bags to try and solve this problem. But yeah, one of my pet peeves in a game is when you have a lot of tokens and there's just no baggies. Give us the baggies, please. We need the baggies. And this brings us on to question 13. Which player colour do I use most often? Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? If you just look at what I'm wearing, I tend to go for green. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so question 14 is read the rulebook or watch a how to play video. And I think it's pretty obvious with the answers here. I kind of like to do both. I tend to try and learn a game straight from a rulebook, but then once I've played my learning game of it, I'll tend to watch a video and pick up on the things I missed or misinterpreted. And then often I'll go back and read the rulebook in full again before I actually play a full game where I'm fully competitive. Anyway, next question. Question 15 is favourite snack while gaming. Well, the funny thing is with me is I do kind of game in my kitchen, so kind of anything is available to me. Often I will just, reach over to the fridge, open the door and eat yesterday's spaghetti bolognese. So it's quite often. I'm going to say my favourite snack at the board game table is leftovers. Okay, so question 16 is, have I ever been to a board game convention and which ones? And the answer is yes, but only one. But I went there twice, and it was UK Games Expo. I went there last year and this year. It's been fun both times, I've really enjoyed it. I always find it extremely exhausting, and the only reason I haven't been to conventions that are abroad is because right now I don't have a passport, so that's something I need to get sorted. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so question 17 is an unreleased game that I'm most looking forward to, and I have to say at this point, because anything else I'm kind of thinking of I probably can't talk about yet because of NDAs, I'm just going to say Madara Part 2. I'm really excited to see another part in the Madara series. Okay, so question 18 is what is my favourite thing about the hobby? And apart from the games themselves, it's kind of a difficult one for me to answer because most creators at this point would just say it's the social side of the hobby. But as a primarily solo gamer, that's not really something I experience that often. In fact, I very rarely actually play games with other people. I can probably still count the amount of times I've played with other people on my fingers and toes. But I will say that I do enjoy playing games with other people, but for me, I think what I really enjoy about games is the challenge they pose. I really enjoy overcoming, say like a designer is basically saying, I bet you can't do this, and I like going, I bet I can, and that's kind of what it is. It's kind of childish really, but I really enjoy that sort of like beating the designer at their own game, so to say. As well as that, I think it kind of brings me into like more of like a zen-like state when I'm gaming. It seems to be the one moment of quiet in my otherwise quite chaotic life. So for me, it's more about the peace and quiet than it is about the social interaction. So yeah, that was question 18. Anyway. Okay, so question 19 is open a game and punch it when you get it, or wait until you play it. Well, I have to say that I was a wait till I play it kind of person, but then a friend of mine, Hilmar at UK Games Expo, reminded me that if, while I'm at a convention, I actually punch the game while I'm there and then load it all back in with the baggies, I actually save a lot of weight on my case because I've thrown away all the sprues before I even travel. So I'm gonna say, open it as soon as you get it, punch it in the shop, and use the bin in the shop to throw away the sprues. Okay, so that's the final question. Question number 20 is, who am I going to nominate to do this challenge next? And I think that the two people I'm going to nominate, because I can't think of more than one name, is going to be Mark Dainty from Not Board Gaming and Mark Monk from Ninja Geek Games. And so if you go check them out, hopefully they'll have a follow-up to this video soon. Okay, so that was my board game tag video. I just want to say that I really enjoyed making this one. It was quite a laugh. It's been nice to not have to get the table out. But I have got a review of the Lord of the Rings LCG revised core set coming soon, so keep your eyes open for that. And if you've been enjoying the content, please feel free to smash that subscribe button up there and check out another one of my videos by here. Anyway, I've been Johnny, you've been watching the Hexy Beast. Thank you for watching, and most of all, stay Hexy everyone!